And so, like, why does this go into my top 3? Because at the end of the day, this is like a complex but ultimately very simple drama. Like, this is a
Yeah.
simple story, but it comes with like the textured layers that are, yeah, when we see generational pain, when we see overcoming trauma, like these are like universal stories that we can get behind. And I just feel like this was done fairly sparingly. Like, it's never overwritten. In fact, it like skirts the line to underwritten where you have to
Hmm.
kind of like infer things in. But I liked that. And it lives and dies with character. And these were 2 characters that I would like to spend time with over and over and over again.
Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unease.
Hey, everybody. This is Leah Riley here.
Hello, this is Megan.
I'm going to just use my full name for the rest of eternity every
I'm
time.
okay. I mean, it's like short. It's just Leah Riley. Like, Megan Erickson feels long, and I don't know.
So I don't know how many people know this, but Leah Riley's a pen name.
Right.
And you don't, well, you have a pen name for your aliens, but you started publishing under yourself.
Yeah. So I guess that sometimes it feels weird for me to just be like, I'm Megan Erickson, like, because that is my name.
Yeah.
And I
So
guess I
let's
sort
talk
of just
about
want to
that.
be, for the podcast, I just want to kind of be like known as Megan. Like, that's, I guess, how it works for me and my brain. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. So we're recording, it's just Leah and I today. We're recording on a Friday, midday for me, morning for Leah.
Yes. And, okay. So what happened was we watched Way Back Love, and both Megan and I separately identified like that was an intense drama. Let's palate cleanse with other intense dramas that happen to be BLs, apparently. Because it was funny. I was like, let's just like, we both were like, we're in the mood for BLs. But we both went away and watched different BLs that were not lighthearted. Like, I went and watched When It Rains, It Pours, which was a Japanese BL. Japanese BLs are by nature not light and fluffy.
They never are. Those are like always super angsty.
I know. And so I was like, I need something different. I'm just going to go watch some drama.
I
And
know.
then you came and you started being like, you need to watch this drama. Like, and you just kept talking about it over and over and over. So I was somebody who did not super connect with When It Rains, It Pours. And so I was looking for, like, I was like, I really wanted that to be a drama that was going to like grab me by the throat and just like kill me, and it didn't. And so when I saw you freaking out, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'd even let my Aichi account lapse because
Mhm.
this is a drama that is on Aichi, which means you need to like commit to a whole other platform. And I'm fine to do that for shows, but in this case, like, I'd let it lapse, and I was like, okay, you're so hyped that I am going to take out a membership and watch it again.
Yeah, so I do want to say I know it's a pain to have like all these different apps. Like, I totally respect that. At this point, I don't I think I have 5 or 6 different streaming apps, not all ones I pay for, on my phone in order to like watch different dramas. I personally think if you do not have iQIYI, which is spelled IQIYI, we'll put information in the show notes. It is worth it to get it. Just pay for a 1-month subscription, watch this drama, and then you can cancel your subscription. Like, I'm
Well,
just
wait,
telling you,
and
it's worth it.
watch Kin Porsche.
Oh, if you haven't watched Kin Porsche, what are you doing? I mean, they're totally different dramas. You definitely can handle it. But yeah, so actually let's intro what drama we're talking about, and it is Let Free the Curse of Taekwondo, or it's also Let the Curse of Taekwondo Be Free. So like, depending on where you're looking, the title can be different because obviously it's a translated title. So it came out in late 2024, and it stars Kim New Rim and Yi Sun, and it is available, like I said, to watch on the iQIYI app. I think Drama List has a description that is a pretty decent premise setup, so I'm going to read that for everyone, and then Leah, you can tell me what you think. I think you read this one before
Mhm.
you watched. High schooler Dohei, burdened by a violent atmosphere of his father's rural Taekwondo gym, finds solace when Ju Young, a cheerful peer from Seoul with dreams of a Taekwondo major, arrives. Their budding connection is disrupted by his father's oppressive influence and a tragic incident that separates them. Reuniting a decade later, they discover a love that evolves from youthful excitement into healing and mutual support. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that that's a solid yeah.
so I do need to say, I didn't know anything. I did not read the description. So, I can't remember who originally told me to watch it. It was probably one of our BL listeners, either Gavin or Allison. But the title turned me off because I was like, I don't really care about Taekwondo. I should learn my lesson. Like, never go by the titles. Like, I really need to
Yeah, just never ever go by the titles.
I
I
really,
agree, but
yeah,
yes.
I need to learn that because the title was a turnoff for a while. Also, it wasn't on Viki. And
Right,
like, I don't often go to the Aichi app just to look around. Like,
right.
I go to the Aichi app if you tell me it's on. Does that make sense? So it wasn't
Yep.
on Viki. So I was like, eh. And then my daughter was like, you got to watch this because she now has the Aichi app and she loves it. And I was like, all right. So I did not read the description, which we'll get to the time jump later. But let me tell you, when the time jump happened, because I didn't know it was going to happen, I felt like my heart had been like ripped out of my chest because I did not know there was going to be a separation of 12 fucking years, which we'll get to. But
So, can I just share something because I find this shocking.
yeah,
So, there's two leads. The lead, Sun, the actor.
yeah,
Um, this is his acting debut.
I saw that. I looked it up because I was curious.
I mean, the character of Sinju Young, I don't know what to say except this drama landed in my top 3,
Yeah, it's
which
incredibly good.
is like my so now I'm going to say that my oh man, I mean, yeah, no, it really did. My top 3 has been like unshakable.
I know.
And so, yeah, here it is. And we're gonna unpack today. And when people say like what and why, I mean, look, my top 5 is a pretty I like to think that like I mean everybody loves their faves, right? And so I'm like, my tops are like very good. This one is incredibly good, was so surprising at how good it was. And it's still like I need to rewatch it a few more times to kind of like think about why it's so good. But I really want to shout out Isan as a date. I mean, like, of course, I'm sure in life he has like performed because, like,
Right.
that's the world. But to have this be like your launch into like the world of like professional work, WTF.
Yeah, it's definitely like golden retriever, black cat energy. The couple, Dohei is very much kind of like black cat,
Yeah.
not in like a fun way. It's like a awful, repressed, traumatized way. And then you have Isan, who is just this like happy golden retriever that acts through his big eyes, like huge eyes. Okay. And the way he acts without saying a word, but you know what he's thinking, you know what he's feeling is wild. It is crazy that this is his debut. That's how good he is. He's so charming and you can't help but like fall in love with his character.
And you said to watch it. And
Mhm.
I also want to give you some empathy because you were like, it has an HEA. The fact that you raw dogged this not knowing, because within 2 episodes, I was already stressed and you had already told me it had an HEA because I
Right.
was like, I feel like the energy it's giving me is someone's going to die.
Yeah, it had tragic energy. It truly it had tragic ending energy. It did. That's why it was terrible.
And so the fact that you told me that was like because I think I would have been I would have had to have looked I would have had to have looked up spoilers because I was so agitated even knowing that it had an HEA.
Yeah, so it does have an HEA, and I feel like I wanna tell people that to assure them because you are going to get like, your stomach's gonna hurt. Like, it's gonna like,
Yeah.
I had so my emotions always, like, come out in, like, I don't know, my bowels, like, my stomach. Like, I had, like, full stomach, like, anxious stomach cramping when I was watching this because I was like, they're not gonna make it through. Like, how are they gonna overcome what has happened, what is going on? And, I didn't know because it was like, again, and it gives tragic energy for a long time, um, through, like, the time jump and stuff like that. But, the reason had hope was because my daughter isn't very good about, like, non-spoilers. She, like, doesn't understand. She didn't tell me. She just said, "You have to watch it. It's really good." And if it ended sad, I know her well enough to know she would have been like, "Mom, it's gonna be really sad at the end." And she
Mhm.
didn't say that. So her omission was my only hope, basically.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, the
Yeah, it
fact
does.
that
It makes perfect sense.
because if the she's recommended me a couple things, and she's like, "The ending's really sad though, Mom. You're gonna cry." And whereas this one, she didn't say that. She was like, "You just have to watch it." And she was right. So good.
But a comp I'm gonna give it is Way Back Love, because these are 2 dramas that are short for dramas.
Right.
Um, and Way Back Love doesn't end in a romantic HEA, but I'd say it ends uplifted.
Mhm. Yeah, I would.
Um, this ends up in a romantic HEA, so this is a romance, whereas I would say Way Back Love is a love story.
Right.
But the fact it I've been trying to, like, articulate what feels, like, tonally different in them, that feels like maybe this is where I'm heading in, like, my in what's gonna be, like, when I watch a drama, what's gonna, like, grab me right away, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what exactly it is, and part of it is almost bringing in, like, a cinematic attitude, like, more of, like, what you would see in, like, a traditional film type viewing, but you're unpacking it over a longer series of shows, but it doesn't. Does that make sense? Like,
Mhm.
I'm trying to stylistically and tonally kind of, like, figure out what it is that sets this up versus where I would say, like, the majority of dramas are kind of sitting at the moment.
Right. I mean, I think for some dramas, obviously, they have a bigger cast. They have all these like B plots. Whereas um this drama feels so condensed down to the relationship. Like everything was about the
Yeah.
relationship to a degree. Which did we say this? It's 8 episodes and they're about 30 minutes each, which feels short, but then when I'm but then when I'm looking back, I'm like, so much happened. Like,
I wouldn't have wanted I think, honestly, it was paced to my
it
taste
was.
perfectly.
I thought it was too. That's why I was like, but also they did so much
Mhm.
within the time. Like, I personally, yeah, agree. The pacing was good. How they like it just felt like there were no wasted scenes or dialogue,
Mhm.
truly. Um, so emotional. I do want to talk a little bit about the title just
Yeah.
because the title, so I think Taekwondo stands for something else. Like I think I think Taekwondo in the title is symbolism for other things. Um, so I'll explain kind of the main character point of Dohei, because that's the first character you meet. That he's one of the main leads, and his character lives in this rural town with his abusive father. So his father is incredibly violent. He runs a taekwondo studio. He beats Dohei. He beats other kids in the neighborhood just because they do things he doesn't like. Like he has a kind of a very old school patriarchal type attitude or whatever. And he also will like hit his own students that he teaches. And Dohei hates taekwondo. Like he's very good at taekwondo, but he hates it. When I watched on the second viewing, by the way, Leah, because I did watch it twice then,
Mm.
the theme of violence actually is like carried more throughout than I realized. So he hates Taekwondo because he doesn't like hitting people. Like
Mhm.
that's like his biggest thing. And it's a little I noticed it even more on the second viewing, how he's just very like anti hitting. And so he doesn't like taekwondo, and all he wants to do is get out of his town. He wants to get away from his father because he's worried he'll become his father. Like he's like convinced if he stays here in this rural town at this taekwondo gym with his father, he's going to become his father. He's going to hit kids in the neighborhood. He's going to drink every night and gamble with his friends, and he's going to be like a terrible person. So in a way, I think let the curse of Taekwondo be free, or let free the curse of Taekwondo is like Taekwondo. I think symbolizes like hi not becoming his father, or like the violent, I guess, just the generational violence and breaking free of that. Is more what I think the title is,
Yes,
because I
agreed.
think that's what it kind of stands for.
The core story here is breaking generational trauma.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Breaking generational trauma. Thank you.
And so that is like, and I think that would be an odd title as well. But the title really, what the title is essentially saying
Yeah.
is breaking generational trauma.
Right.
and
Which would be a terrible title too. So like fair that
the
they.
and I want to shout out so the dad, because I recognized the dad and I couldn't figure out why. I just knew I've seen him in things.
Oh yeah.
So the dad's name is Yuha Buck. So he's never been like a lead, but he's been in a bunch of things that I've seen. So he's been in Reborn Rich, he's been in Doom at Your Service, he's been in Extraordinary You, he's been in Signal, he has been what else? Like, yeah, just so he's been in a lot of dramas
Oh wow.
that
Yeah.
are notable, but I think as part of like the greater ensemble, he was in Mouse, which I haven't seen, but is like, always recommended.
Oh my god. His list is incredible.
Yeah. And so he often is playing like a dad, like a secondary character's father or something like that is
Right.
what it looks like.
Like a principal, that kind of
Yeah, or
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
an employee. But
Yeah.
when I saw him immediately, I was like, I've seen your face. And so I had to look it
Right.
back and I'm like, oh, I've seen your face like many times.
Yeah,
He
he's
was
in like
great.
everything.
He was a great lead too. He was a strong secondary character as the antagonist. And we'll get into the spoiler section in a little bit because again, like all good antagonists as well, they're not exact. The best antagonists and villains have layers to them as well.
Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does. But I think that they didn't get into it too much, which I also think was okay.
I
You
think it
know?
was a good I for what this was, like I said, I to my taste right now, that's why I'm like, there's something happening with like what I'm looking for in dramas because like we got asked this question recently by our Patreon of like, what's a drama that like you sit up and take notice now? And I'm
Mhm.
trying to think that like the two that this year have made me sit up and take, well, actually three, because I am sorry, I am never going to be a person that's going to hate on Squid Game. I'm just not. I know it's a
No.
basic thing, but Squid Game 2 really, I, I'm putting it in my top three at this point for the year.
Yeah, I like Squid
Um,
Game too.
but besides Squid Game is Way Back Love and now Let Free the Curse of Taekwondo. And I had to sit with that and be like, so what is it about these dramas that are giving that are like, yeah, making me sit up? And so I think as we talk today, I'm hoping to answer some of these questions for myself as I process.
Yeah, for me too. Um, Again, especially on second viewing, this was written so well. So the screenwriter and director is Hwang Da-sul. Um, it looks like she also wrote The Sweet Blood, which I think The Sweet Blood, yeah, The Sweet Blood was that vampire BL.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
So okay, here we go. Oh, she's the director of Where Your Eyes Linger. I've seen that too. That's another really good BL. She's really talented because again, especially when I was looking back when I watched it on a second time, I saw that there were almost like little Easter eggs that I feel like you might not have noticed on the first one. Like it was just very well written and put together, and the themes were very well carried through, I thought as well.
So, okay, here's another thing that I guess, like, as I keep saying this, I feel like the way I have, and I don't want to do it like this, but I don't know how else to frame it is I don't want to be like, I dog something else to say why I like this. Like, you're not like the other girls, baby. But like, it does help me understand, like, maybe why, like, for my current mood and taste, where this is hitting different
Mhm.
is I spent a lot, and I mean, like, again, somebody else might watch this and be like, I was never confused. I spent a lot of this drama confused, but in a good way because I think sometimes, like, I don't always want to have to be like thinking and processing when I watch a drama. I certainly don't love watching things where I'm just constantly like completely disoriented and being like, where's this all going and where's it all coming? Like sometimes those kind of shows are fun, but usually those aren't shows I particularly enjoy. But I also don't particularly love when it's like, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen over the next like 8 episodes and be like 98% correct. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like I
this
do get a little bit bored when that
Yep.
happens.
Yep.
And so in this case, there was a lot of times where I would say it's not underwritten, but it's close to
I
underwritten.
understand what you're saying. I do understand because there were times I was also confused, and I was like, I just gotta let this ride, I think. And once, because you are finding out things as the characters are finding out. You're not, the audience isn't let in early.
Yes, and I feel like often in K-drama, there's, like, a lot of exposition where, like, you go to another scene and everyone's like, "This is I am the bad guy. This is my evil plot. I'm going to tell you the plot." And then you're back in, like, the other character's position, and they're like, "I don't know what's gonna happen." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I do because we were told, like, 9 times."
And
And
this
so
drama doesn't do that. That is very correct, actually. I
yeah.
didn't think of it that way, but it's very true.
And so there'd be like, okay, wait, what is this person's motivation? Or why are they doing this? Or like, wait, you're hinting at something. I kind of feel like this is what you're saying. Did I miss something earlier or is this new information? And so but it never felt like, it's not trying to take you into like a multiverse where you're like, what does it all mean? Like it's coming together in a story, but it's almost like you
Yeah.
kind of have to pay close attention to the things that they're dropping in, and then they're not doing a lot of exposition. And again, I do enjoy more than I ever thought I would the fact that in K drama we do get a lot of just like monologuing where a character like walks along and just shares everything they're thinking internally. Like I don't mind it, but I think I've also realized that maybe lately I'm also really appreciating when that doesn't happen. Like, make
Mhm.
me work for it, make me have to watch the actors' cues, make me look for context clues and like the writing to get it rather than just being kind of like completely like on the couch, just like spoon feed me everything because I don't want to think.
And I think for if it's a 20 episode drama and you aren't spoon speeding me, that's exhausting. So I get it. I would say though for this drama, it was 8 episodes, and if I had to figure out context clues, I was okay with it. Cuz like
Yeah.
my attention span could handle it. Like, does that make sense? So if you're going to write a drama like this, then an 8 episode drama at 30-minute episodes, it's working for me. It's just, and also I often know if a drama is that short. It's kind of like a movie, to be honest. You know how in a
That's yeah,
movie
that's
you're
what
not
I'm saying.
getting, you got to figure out some context clues in a movie. And so this was very similar to that, which is what you said earlier. So
Yeah,
like
these
yeah,
are like film adjacent where it's
yeah.
like you're kind of in like a hybrid space. So, okay, so I guess I'm answering my own question because again, I knew that this was something I didn't want to think about too hard going in. I wanted to unpack it and process during. This is how my brain works for better or worse for people listening at home. But yeah, so at this point now I have two clues to why these dramas are working for me. One is this kind of like hybrid movie drama vibe. And then secondly is the lack of external monologuing of motivations.
Yeah. It's
I'm on the
so
I'm on a path now. I feel like I'm like it's all becoming clear.
it's so true because I'm watching Tastefully Yours. I watched like the first 2 episodes last night, and there are scenes where Kang Kang was literally just outside in the rain talking to himself, telling us his motivations,
Yes, which
which
again,
is totally fine. But I don't always need that, you
so
know?
and I think when I first got that with K-drama, I was like, I really like this because it's so different and it felt a little bit like how you would read in a book because in a book you're often get at least for me and how I
Yeah,
write too, for better or worse, is you get the characters yapping their motivations a lot, but like the reader's privy to them. And
yeah.
so I'd never really seen a lot of I mean, I just haven't seen Western shows do that where like we're just in their head as they're like, oh, I should be la 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 la. And I was like very taken with it. But I also think that like any delicious sauce, sometimes you either have it too much or like, so it's just I like to change it up.
Yeah, like, this gave me a little bit of spice, okay?
Yeah.
It
Take
gave
the
me a little
sauce
bit of
away
a
and give
a
spice.
yeah, a little bit of a different spice. It's like I tried curry for the first time or something, like, it was good, it was good. So, yeah, so we already kind of, well, I don't think we really said any spoilers, but now we are. So, like, now we're getting into spoiler town because,
So if you
like,
haven't seen it, you can listen to the spoilers. That's
yeah,
fine. Or just go away and watch it. It's 4 hours. Come back.
go away and watch it. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, I don't know how much Aichi is for a month. I don't care. if it's $10, it's worth it for I'm telling you
I
right now.
promise.
And then watch a few others. Watch
Watch
Kin
Kin
Torch 2.
Torch.
Get your money's worth for the month and then cancel your subscription. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Don't fight me.
Oh, and you can watch Love is in the Air as well.
There's a bunch of honestly, here's the deal. You know what? We'll make a list on our social media of all the dramas we recommend on Aichi, okay? Because then you feel like you're going to get your money's worth for a month. I tell you what, though, I'm like, I have ongoing series on Aichi right now. I have to keep it. Like, at this point, I'm keeping it at least through the fall because I'm like, I have ongoing series that I'm watching.
And I am a fickle hoe when it comes to Aichi, and I just usually do like a month, watch what I'm liking, then like search out other stuff, bounce, and then like I feel like I could just keep it on, but I'm stubborn like that. And so I like turn it on and off all year long. It's like I feel like Aichi and Hulu are like the ones that
Yeah.
I'm turning on and off all year long.
And like that's also totally fine. We're just telling you, give this drama a chance. It's worth it. I wish it was on Viki, so because I obviously more people have Viki. But Aichi is not Viki's like $100 a year. Okay. Aichi is like, I seriously think it's like $7.
I think it's 10 for the month.
Oh, it is? That's more than I thought. It's still worth it, guys. $10. $10 is worth it.
Again, everyone has their own financial circumstances, but please give it a chance if you are not sure and you do have the discretionary income to back it up. It's definitely, it's a good time.
It is. It's a great time. So, okay, we touched on this a little bit, but let's just at least give a breakdown on the two characters just so everyone understands what we're talking about. So Dohei, again, it just wants to get out of his town. And so his main goal, he studies a lot. Like that's his main goal right now because he wants to take, again, I don't quite know how the Korean
it's the exam. It's
education systems, but yes, he wants to take essentially the SATs.
Yeah.
The SAT equivalent in Korea. He wants to take the college entrance exams and get into college. To him, that is his plane ticket essentially out of his hometown.
Yeah.
That's how he's going to get.
He's a country mouse and he wants to be a city mouse.
He wants to be a city mouse, very much so. And he doesn't want to be his father.
Right.
And then you can talk about
and then we have a city mouse. Yeah. So
city mouse?
Yeah. So we have a city mouse. We have a soul boy who gets sent to the country because he's adopted, which they don't get into a lot of the weeds with, but he's adopted. And his parents, like he is something of a Taekwondo prodigy. And his parent, and while this is the biggest golden retriever, sometimes with his golden retrievers can have a big paw. And so he has a tendency sometimes that if he sees like a wrong that needs to be righted, he'll use his big paw to fix the situation.
Right.
So he doesn't have like anger issues where he's just like punching first and asking questions later. No. But essentially, if he sees something go down bad, he is going to step in for better or worse. And it does bite him in the ass a few times in this case. But when he steps in with a big paw, it's never with like because he's out of control or anything like that. It's just essentially like he's taking care of some biz. So some shit went down in Seoul. He took care of some biz, got in trouble, and his parents were like, essentially they Fresh Prince of Bel-Aired him. So, they were like, he's up to no good. I don't think he was up to no good.
Making trouble in the neighborhood.
Yeah, he was making trouble in the neighborhood.
I don't think one little fight.
Yep. And they said, you're moving in with a toxic, abusing Taekwondo master.
Like, did they check this place out ahead of time?
I think that was the goal. The guy was probably like, I will beat him straight. Essentially, it's almost like, he's going to a Taekwondo school. They're like, you don't even need to go to school. You just do the Taekwondo with this man.
Which is wild.
I know. So they were like, no school for you. You're not going to be a schoolboy. You're just
no backup. No backup if you get injured. Just straight Taekwondo.
Yep. But it's almost like it would be like the equivalent, I guess, in the US would be like if a parent was like, I don't know what to do with this kid. They're going to military school.
Yeah.
Although we're sending like the greenest flag puppy with the big paw to military school because
ludicrous.
And that's where I feel like maybe we've got some layers that like, are kind of like adjacently hinted at with like, he's adopted. His parents are, there's like a little bit of and I'm not talking about this as like a normative adoption relationship where like parents love their child. And, this is more just like in the drama, like the context clues you get are the parents have some distancing with this child. Like you see them in the car together. It doesn't feel overly loving or warm. Like it just feels like a little bit like he doesn't quite fit with them and they don't know what to do with him.
And he's the sweetest. So like they're really missing out because he's so
Yeah.
freaking
I mean,
adorable.
it's baffling.
So so he has to he goes to the studio and he's like a boarder, which is
Yeah.
also kind of crazy. So his parents are paying for room and board.
Yep.
And the Taekwondo master, Dohei's father, expects Dohei to like cook for Juyang. Like he's like,
Yes.
you cook for him. That's like part of what Juyang's parents pay for. And then Juyang trains. So Dohei goes to school, Juyang trains. And
And
I
gets
think
beaten.
and I think Dohei resents having someone in his house. Like I'm sure, and he just views it as like another distraction. He doesn't want to get attached because Dohei doesn't want to get attached to anyone because he just wants to get the fuck out of there.
Although I will say I don't think it's quite as, I don't feel like from the moment Dohei sees Ju Young though, like it's
Oh, true.
it truly is insta love.
It's a great meet cute. So Dohei has to unlock the Taekwondo
Yeah.
studio or something. It's raining. He has an umbrella. His dad's like, the border is coming. Go out and like tell him where to go. And so Dohei's standing out there with an umbrella, and Ju Young, golden
With the
retriever puppy,
bucket.
has a bucket over his head, and he's running with this big ass smile on his face.
Yeah.
Towards, and of course it's slow mo. And Dohei is like immediately like, oh my god.
My entire world has just changed.
Yeah.
So
Like
we see that Dohei immediately is infatuated, and yet because Dohei is Dohei, with that infatuation comes immediate guardrails that go up. So it's less that he's annoyed that this guy's in the house and more that like he's very guarded, I would say.
yeah, very true. He's very guarded. And I think he's immediately like, no, I'm not going to get to know this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I don't like him.
Yep.
But
Even to myself, because he's a master at lying to himself as well as everyone else.
yeah, but the depiction of kind of first love that this drama shows us is probably one of the best, if not the best, depictions of first love, in my opinion, in a drama. It's beautiful because this is the thing about Ju Young, which will carry through the rest of the drama, is that Ju Young never lets Dohei kind of like hide. Like Ju Young is always going to kind of like break through that like chilly exterior. He's never going to let Dohei kind of like mask anything. He's going to get the truth out, and that's what he does. He like continually like charms Dohei by just being there for him and seeming to like understand him in a way that no one has tried to do. I think everyone in Dohei's life just like lets him keep that mask because it's easier and safer. And Jiyoung's like, no way, I'm going to take that mask off and I'm not going to let you live like this.
And I think what's fascinating, because in romance, there's one explanation that talks about like what is like the like hero's journey in romance, and it's moving from like identity to like actualization, essentially. So you move from like having a mask, and it's the mask you show the world, and then like through falling in love you can like take this mask off, and like you are your true self and like worthy of love, and your lover sees you. And that, I mean, that's literally what happens in this drama. But what's really interesting is that I don't think, no, there's that many times where Ji Young immediately sees beyond the mask, and we never have him really truly stuck in like Dohei's identity. And so Dohei's on a journey from going from identity to actualization, but it's basically like Ji Young the entire time is just there, like being like, I believe in this act. Like I can see the actualization. Like I can see the you through all the bullshit from jump. And I
From
think that
jump.
like insta love, I know we have different views. Like you're more of an insta love girly. I never really am. But in this case, it works so well and so interestingly, because like you could have had this. I think would have made this drama more basic is like Dohei's like, I'm putting up my wall. Nobody understands me. And then Ji Young's like, fine, I don't understand you. And then they like fight and they go away. And in this case, it would be like they did fight and they did have conflict. But at the fundamental end of it, Ji Young was never getting caught up in like Dohei's bullshit in it.
Never. Correct. And everyone else would let him would get caught up in his bullshit, would let him keep the mask, didn't want to like create waves because they were worried kind of about like Do-hae pushing them away then. Like, we'll get into, like, he has kind of like a second lead love interest in a way. But Ju-young just never does that. And you're right. He sees Do-hae from the beginning. Their chemistry, and I'm not even talking about like I'm talking about like couple chemistry was so good
True love chemistry.
From the first scene of them together. The way they looked at each other was incredible. Their on-screen chemistry was so good. I believed every scene. Like, I believed that Ju-young could see through Do-hae. I could see that Do-hae was like, Ju-young is the only happy thing in my life. Like, he's the only thing that matters, at least for a while.
I believe these are full real people.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so why don't you talk about like the because they have moments when you can tell there's like a shift, that obviously they're friends.
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting too. And again, like when I say some of these things, I'm not trying to say that like if somebody does experience a lot of conflict about their sexuality and things like that, that's bad in any way. So none of that is like what I'm trying to say here. But something that was kind of refreshing in this is we had no gay panic.
None. They were just like, oh, I like you, as if you were, didn't matter what gender.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't as overt with it, but there was never like also a struggle of like, who is this? I dislike myself because I have feelings for a man, anything like that. Like there was a lot of self-hatred Do-hae had, but it didn't seem to be tied up into that, which was also a choice. And I think a good choice for the drama. Like we didn't have, we were cutting right through to like kind of core story stuff and not any of this like extraneous thing. But where I knew this drama, we talked about this briefly in an Uncensored recently of like when does a drama take you and you go, oh, this is you aren't like the other girls, like you are going to be special.
True. Like this drama isn't like the other girls.
Yeah.
Okay. This is
so
true.
This drama has that moment for me in episode 2, which is there's like the first snow, like I don't know if it's first snow, but it's light snow, and they're outside. And they're moving from like that, like they've moved from instant attraction to like uneasy friendship to good friendship to now like they're going to take it to that next level. And the depiction of kind of this first crushy love, but like I really want to touch you, but I actually really don't know what to do. I didn't feel like icky or voyeuristic. I didn't have it didn't feel like sensationalized, and like it didn't like make it feel like I was just like, bring me the pornography.
Yeah, it wasn't titillating in any way.
No, but it felt just so like teeth-hurtingly cute and like almost jealous. Like I was like, I wish I'd had something quite so cute.
Right.
Instead, I'm like, my first kiss was making out to Young Guns 2 on a couch.
Young Guns 2. I know. I wish I was at like, because they're like, where should our first kiss be? Should we go like under this tunnel? Like, where should we go?
Yeah.
It's so fucking cute.
Yeah. So they work out this whole thing. And there's a few times where like one comes up behind the other to like, and gives like the kissy lips to like do it. And then like the other, like they miss each other. Oh my God. So they end up in the back of, I think, is it the Taekwondo truck?
I think it's like the Taekwondo van.
Yeah.
And they end up in
the back seat. And they have to like negotiate the kissing, like, you know, you turn left, I'll turn right. That way we're not going to bump noses. Like they try to like choreograph it. And so it's very cute because they both are into it. They're both not panicked about it. And there's no like fisheye with it where like they just like fall into each other and then they're like, what's happening? Like they had
there's no silliness.
Yeah, they had to seek it out. No. There's no silly to it. There's no slapstick to it. It's funny and tender, but not slapsticky.
And then they show continuous stolen moments in the back of this van that are so sweet. It's like the beginning of like understanding your body and like what feels good, and it's like the sweetest little moments. And there's also this lovely scene where Do-hae has talked about where they live in this rural country. They don't get, or rural city. They don't get a lot of snow. And Ju-young's like, oh, I've seen snow in Seoul. And so he wants to give Do-hae snow. So he makes snow. Like, I don't know what he uses. I don't know what he does, but he makes snow. and he lays it out on like the ground in front of the Taekwondo studio. So when Dohei comes home from school, he like steps on snow. And they have this like beautiful moment where like they're playing in this like fake snow. And it's just this other like beautiful moment between the two of them. And then obviously like the snow theme is not unique to K dramas, but that's also carried out throughout the drama.
Yeah, well, basically, like what we find out later is that Ju Young, whenever he sees snow, goes into like a fugue state, essentially.
Yeah, Ju Young just starts crying every time he sees snow, which is
Yeah,
so cute.
especially if he's drunk, like a
Yeah.
mess over snow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the time jump happens. I'll kind of do the setup and then maybe you can unpack it. But
Okay.
essentially, so at this point, they are full of youthful, boyish confidence for the future. And
Mhm.
so and that's where I was like, someone's going to die or something horrible is going to happen because we're so early in the drama and things are feeling so good.
Yeah,
And
because they're
so,
so happy. They're,
yeah,
like, planning a future together. They're like, "We're
yeah.
gonna move to Seoul," to like, they made future
Yeah. So
plans.
Dohei is like, I am going to crush this exam. I'm
Yeah.
going to be an architecture student off to Seoul. And like Young's like, I'm going back to Seoul. Like I'm already the city boy and I'm going to be doing Taekwondo. I'm going to be on the national team. Like we got this. Like high five. Like do your college exam, baby. You got this. And then we are out of here.
Mhm.
And what happens?
And so Dohei's father has, like, a habit of, like, getting really drunk, and he'll call Dohei in the middle of the night and be like, "Hey, bring me more beer," or something. And this morning, he is still drunk, and
It's college exam day.
it's college exam day. He's still drunk, and he's like, "I'm gonna go I don't know, I'm mad at Dohei because 'cause I'm drunk and I'm an asshole." Um,
And
and
wait, and actually, what I sorry to interrupt you.
Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
also, so the father, we know the mom has left. The mom's
Right.
left him, and Dohei, when he's like toxic with his dad, will be like, "Good, I'm glad she left because like she's probably happy,
Yeah.
and like fuck, like we're not
Yeah.
obviously."
Like, "You're a
And
dick, fuck you."
yeah, and Dohei's dad doesn't really, in his heart of hearts, want Dohei to leave. He wants Dohei to stay and like take on the Taekwondo gym.
Right.
And so I think that this morning there is like consciously or unconscious sabotage happening because this is
Right.
the day that Dohei is going to like make or break it.
Yeah, this is a big deal. So, and Ju Young sees this happening and is like, I have to stop it. So he essentially starts a fight. Well, he doesn't start a fight, but he tries to hold back Dohei's father. Dohei's like, you're going to catch a beating now. And they engage in physical
Yeah, Jiyoung, and I
altercation.
think like Dohei's friends, like the old men, is it just Dohei's dad or do they all beat him?
I don't know. I don't know. They leave it kind of, you're not really sure. I think they
It's just
just
a
show,
big beating. A big beating happens.
yeah. And at the time, they just show Dohei, like, the fight's happening, but Dohei's, like, happily walking to his college exams. On his way, he hears police sirens, but he just keeps going. Um, and then the next scene, again, this is, like, what we know as of right now in the drama. You see Dohei, like, leaving the school grounds, like, running home. And when he gets home, there are cops there, and they're like, "Hey, aren't the exams going on right now?" So, like, like, something's going on that they're not, like, that he, like, either didn't stay for the exams, hurried through them. You don't really know at the time. And his father is like, "Oh, hey, Ju Young's a problem. I sent him home. I hope his parents beat the crap out of him because he needs discipline and that kind of stuff." So Dohei knows, like, that's it. Um, and there is a moment where on second viewing, I didn't think much of this when I first watched it, but then on second viewing and also understanding more about how much Dohei kind of like hated violence and just the act of like hitting someone else. When his father says that about Ju Young, Dohei like kind of defends Ju Young, and then his father gets up and leaves, and Dohei is so angry that he picks up a knife as if to like stab his father.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of see this like realization come over him. Like, oh my God, I almost like hurt someone intentionally, which is exactly who I don't want to become. And so looking back, I realized that like that's the moment where he has decided like his future. Like he's decided It doesn't matter. I will do whatever it takes to get out of here. Because if I stay, I'm going to become my father. Because I can already like feel this environment is going to make me like him. So it's a really pivotal moment that like on first viewing, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, why? What's like, yeah, I didn't like get it. But then now I'm like, oh, I see. Like that was sort of like where it hits him, you know? And then, so I guess, should we talk about like the truth of what actually happened? Or
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
should
get
we?
into it. Yeah, get into it.
So the truth of what happened that we find out later, because what happens is right after that, there's a time jump. 12 years later, which by the way, as soon as I said earlier, I did not know there was going to be a time jump. So when the time jump happened, I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, they've been separated for 12 years. I was
Yeah.
so heartbroken because 12 years, they're like 30 now. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like adults. And you know that Ju Young is like a Taekwondo instructor, and you don't know what's going on with Do Hae. You just know Ju Young is still in contact with Do Hae's father. Probably because that's the
Very close contact.
it is very close contact, but I do think it's to have some sort of link to Do Hae. Because
Oh, of
without that,
course.
he's got nothing. He's got
Of
no, and like let's be real, Ju Young has not moved on.
Jung
Ju
hasn't moved on one bit from his love for Do-hae, and
no.
he's essentially become so Do-hae has ghosted both dad and Ji-young,
Mhm.
and Ji-young is now essentially the proxy son for Do-hae's toxic father.
Right. Right.
But
He
like
goes back and visits Do Hae's father.
makes
Do
him
Hae's father's
kimchi
like,
stew.
yeah, Do Hae's father is like, okay, you can take over the Taekwondo studio then. Um,
And Do-hae's father at this point, like, we're like, look, you're not a good man, but like, I have relative, like, he feels very familiar to me. Like, you're a man who life has disappointed in some way. You have a drinking problem. You toxic masculinity came for you, and you cannot articulate your feelings well. But you're going to be like, I'm going to take it like a man and give a
mm,
beating, and I'm going to
mm,
beat some sense into you. Like that's how he sees the world.
mhm.
And so, is it good? No. Is it damaging? Yes. Is he a bad guy? Yeah. But he's kind of like the bad guy, you know. Like he's probably like a bad guy that many of us have at like our dinner table sometime, like as either a father, an uncle, a grandpa. Like he felt
Yeah,
very much like I was like, I know you and I've known you my whole life.
yeah.
And
He's not a psychopath villain. He is a very real person who you probably, yeah, we all know someone like that
yeah.
who just like is a total victim of toxic masculinity and
Yeah.
the patriarchy as a
And
man,
their
and it's
kids
terrible.
don't want to talk to them anymore. But like you're kind of like also like, damn, you're kind of a sad guy. And I get why, like and I understand why your kids don't want to talk to you. I'm gonna name it. It reminded me of an uncle I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And when, so I'm trying to like think, I feel like the angst of when they reunite is is a lot for me. So the next time they see each other is when Do-hae's father dies.
In a
So
car accident after going to visit Ju Young and offering Ju Young the gym.
yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, in the van.
Yeah, in the van of love, he gets like there's like a 12 car pile up
Right,
and dad's
right.
out of the picture.
And so that's when Ju Young sees Do-hae again. Of course, Do-hae comes late. Do-hae is not interested in being a part of this charade.
Ju
Like,
Young put together the entire funeral, might I
yeah,
add.
Ju Young is the, oh God, what do they call it? In
The chief mourner.
thank you. It's all Ju Young, okay? And I think, and again, I think he's like, this is the only way I'm ever going to see Do-hae again. Do-hae shows up
In a
and immediately,
BMW.
what?
In a
You know, oh
BMW.
yeah, in a very fancy BMW, very nice clothes, with his childhood friend
The
Hyun
bully of
Ho
the high school.
from high school. His high school friend Hyun Ho, who used to beat him up, but now apparently they're besties. And Ju Young is just like, what the fuck happened to you? Like you could tell Ju Young is like, I see right through this fucking BMW, this fancy coat. I see right through it. Like what are you doing? You know? Because Ju Young's just like, I'm sorry, Do-hae's like, I don't want to do this with you. Like this, good for you that you care about my dad. I don't want any part of it. I have to go back to Seoul. I have to work. Like really
Yeah, he
wants,
basically shows up. I'm a very busy man and I
yeah,
haven't got all day, is the
yeah.
attitude he's giving.
yeah, doesn't wanna reconcile with Ju Young, and Ju Young's just like, what's going on? Like, this is very weird. This isn't the Dohei I know. Um, they meet again, and Dohei's like, "Fine, come out to dinner with me." Like, turns out they work in, like, the same city, Ilsan, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very interesting that Dohei happened to have moved to the town he knew Ju Young was going to live in, Ilsan,
Right, right. Like,
like a suburb of Seoul.
we see through you, Dohei. But anyway, this was the most awkward dinner I've ever seen. So Dohei is like, come out with me and my coworkers. Ju Young is still wearing his Taekwondo outfit
Yeah,
from
because he teaches young children.
yeah, which is very cute. This is perfect for Ju Young, by the way. Perfect Taekwondo instructor for little children. He's amazing at it. He's still a golden retriever. He's still the same person. He doesn't wear a mask ever. Ju Young like is himself all the time, but he's also very in love with Dohei still. Um and he takes him to this dinner, and it's like Ju Young's just like, "What are you doing?" Like, Ju Young basically calls him on it. Ju Young leaves, and Dohei
Well, because
follows him.
Dohei's being a douchebag. First,
Dohei is being a douche.
it's an expensive place. Like the steaks are all like over $100.
Right.
He's kind of like, you can order what you want.
Whatever you want, I'll pay for it. And
Yeah.
Ju Young's like, "What the fuck?" You
Yeah.
know?
He's just like, what is this? This is nonsense.
Yeah, and so he's just like, "Why are you did you just invite me to, like, show off?" Like, immediately calls Dohei on his bullshit, and I think that's what made Dohei also bristle even more,
Mhm.
because Dohei can't let anyone know him. Like, we're gonna get into it, but he has made decisions that have put him where he is today, and the truth will ruin everything. And he knows, this is the thing, is like, he knows Ju Young won't let it rest. He knows Ju Young is like the only person on the planet who is not going to let him keep this mask on. And so if he lets Ju Young get too close, it's going to be over. Right? Do you
Yep.
agree with that?
Yeah. And he's got this push pull where he's like, and this could be annoying. Like, this is why the length of the drama really matters,
Yeah.
because if this had been a lot of push pull, it would have been too much.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Like, it's, to me, it was the perfect amount of angst. I think there could have been a point where I would have started to get frustrated and like annoyed, whereas this was like kind of the perfect amount, because there was push pull for, I don't know, 3 episodes, maybe?
Yes, push pull, but it felt like, given the length of the push pull, there had to have been, like, there couldn't have not been push pull. There
Yeah.
couldn't have been, like, like, it made perfect sense. It would have been too weird. Like, of course he wasn't just going to push away because he's in love with him. But of
Mhm.
course he wasn't going to be like, yes, yes, baby, it's all going to work out, because of course it couldn't. He'd made too many bad choices. So there's
Yeah.
this like, I can't. Oh my God. Like, I want you here, but like, I can't have you here. And just like that back and forth angstiness there was just enough to have it be believable and good, but not enough that I was like, oh my God, if they do this one more time, I'm going to freaking murder them.
Yeah, Dohei was just so, at this point, he had thrown up this mask now. He had this mask for 12 years, to the point that I don't think he remembered who he was really, or and Ju Young again like makes him confront that. Um so they tell the truth of what happened back then, because what basically at this point then, because Dohei's father died, Dohei is like, "I'm going to sell the Taekwondo studio." And Ju Young is trying to be like, "Sell it to me, I'll keep it going." And Dohei's like, "No, I don't want any part of this." And Ju Young's like thinking he's going to regret it, and Dohei's like, "No, I want that place gone." Dohei's basically like, "I want to burn it to the ground."
Yeah.
And so they return there. Both of them happen to be there at the same time. Ju Young's like packing up some things, and they have a confrontation. And a large part of the truth of what happened 12 years ago comes out, which is rough. I will tell you, I didn't see this coming, like, at all. Right? Like, that's the thing we were saying earlier about this drama, is like, you don't you're not clued in on what happened. It's not like you know what happens 12 years ago this whole time. You're filled in when the characters are filled in.
Yeah,
You
there were
weren't
certain things that happened that can like that I told Megan at one point. There were a few things that happened as like lead up hints that confused me. So one was um I'm almost positive this happened before they went back, that you see Ji Young has like he'd gone to Do Hae's house and like taken a photo of something on the wall and like had the impression
Oh,
Do Hae had done it. And
yeah.
then somebody was like, "Why do you have this on your phone?" And then they're like, "That's a really famous that's a famous like house design essentially."
Yeah, I was
And
like,
then that and so I start to be like, "Is Do Hae like a secret famous person? Like what's happening?"
you know,
No.
yeah.
No, he is not. He is a lying liar.
Yeah, so you find out things as they go. So you find out the actual details of the us listener. You find out what happened 12 years ago. So when turns out when Dohei left that morning, he heard the fighting. He heard what was going on, but he knew he had to get to the exams because if he didn't get to the exams, he wasn't getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah. So he
So
hears Ju Young getting his ass handed to him.
right,
And it's like, I gotta go.
and he's like, he knows he could either go and stop it himself, but then that could like upset him and not let him do well on his exams. Like he goes through, like he was like, and he tells Ju Young, he's like, all I did was call the police on the way to the exam. I called the police, and I knew that that was going to have repercussions that weren't going to come back on me because I'm a terrible person. Like he basically says, like I did this and I
I
went,
sold you out, but I called the police to try to break up the fight. But I was
yeah,
like, basically, I delegated and left you in what I knew was a bad situation, did something good, but like I chose me.
yeah, I chose me. And so he's like expecting Ju Young to be like, "Oh my god, you asshole! Like you left me to get beaten up," even though that was Ju Young's choice to like stay. Like Ju Young was initiated the fight on purpose. I mean, all it's the father's fault in the end, but still. And instead, Ju Young's just like, "Oh man, that must have been so hard for you that you had to hold that in all this time. Like
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to endure the truth and the guilt all this time." That was his response to Dohei. And
Hmm.
You can tell Dohei doesn't want that. Like in that moment, Dohei's like, "Yell at me. Why aren't you cursing me? Why aren't you like telling me I'm a bad person?" And Ju Young's just like, "I'm not going to do that because that's not who you are. Like I know who you are beneath. I know it." And
Yeah. No,
I
Dohei hates himself, so expects Ju Young to have like wants the relief to know that Ju Young is looking at him and also hating him too. And the fact that Ju Young continues to look at him with love is almost like more punishment and more pain.
right. And again, the thing is, Dohei, this is a decision you made when you were like 18.
Yeah.
Like give yourself a break, you know? So this was like a pivotal moment like for me when I was watching it because they're outside the Taekwondo studio, which is obviously like a major source of like pain and anger. And it starts snowing. And at this point, you know that Ju Young always has like issues when it snows. You know that like the story of how he made him snow, you know, all that. And what's interesting in this scene to me too is the acting of it would have been Kim Nu Rim. Yeah, Kim Nu Rim, who plays Do Hae, is like for so long he had been looking at Ju Young with like disgust on purpose, like he's trying to push Ju Young away. And he kind of has that like mask on. But as soon as it snows and as soon as Ju Young like is like, "No, I'm not gonna curse you because I still care about you." Dohei's eyes completely change. Like this scene is so good. Because immediately you just like you see the mask drop. You see Dohei's like, "Oh my God, like I've been missing this for 12 years." And then they kiss. And it's like so beautiful. Such an amazing reunion. And you can see that Dohei is like, "I gotta make this work somehow. Like I gotta keep like the one thing that makes me happy in my life." Because he knows that his life is like kind of in shambles.
But Dohei, this is a false high.
It is. It's a total false high. Dohei's like, maybe I can make this work, but like, maybe I can, maybe I can be who I am and still have Ju Young,
Yeah.
and he can't. He
So this
basically
is what it is. It's like the beginning of the death of self and ego, and he has to make choices this time of like, who is he?
yeah, yeah. Um, and so they have I want to talk about this too. So there is like some push-pull. There is Hyun Ho, who is like he likes Do-hae. Like I think they want us to think that Do-hae and Hyun Ho have had some sort of like romantic relationship, but I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
was believing it at one point. I was like, "Are they like just hook?" Like, I mean, I knew it wasn't Endgame, but I was like, are they hooking?" Like,
I don't think
no,
they ever
I don't.
did. I think it was fully Hyun Ho wanting to, because Do-hae even says at one point, like, I don't do this with Hyun Ho. He says
Yeah,
that to
yeah. But Hyun Ho certainly wants to, and part of the reason we realized Hyun Ho had always like beat up Dohae in high school and stuff. It's like he's just like he's not a bad guy either,
no.
but he probably had more like of the panic kind of thing setting in.
Yeah. And I also think he has a mask. And he's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
keep and also I think he thinks he hates Ju Young because he know Ju Young's the only one who can get to Do-hae. He
yeah.
knows like Hyun Ho is willing to accept Do-hae and his mask, and he's willing to just like let Do-hae like simmer in pain and trauma if it means Hyun Ho can have him. Like I think Hyun Ho does mean the best for Do-hae, but he doesn't know what is best. I think Ju Young does. So I do before we kind of get into like what Do-hae does, that kind of like gets into the third act. I do want to
Yeah.
talk about like the sex scene, because this moment already the drama was like top for me, and I'll explain why. It's not that they had sex. It's how this was directed and shot, and the decision they made to do flashbacks during it. So they they have or they allude to them having sex. There's like a bed scene.
They have sex.
It's not titillating. It's
Yeah.
not it's very dark. It's fine. It's beautiful. Like it's
They don't
beautiful.
take out honey like Winnie the
Yeah,
Pooh.
we are not there's no and I don't need that. So I was like I did I want to see them be physically intimate like in bed. I wanted I wanted the nod that they were back
Yeah.
together. Yes, so I wanted that. I didn't need like details really. But
I mean, if whatever you want to give me. It's
true,
fine.
true, whatever. So, but what I loved the most was while they're like in bed as adults and while they're kissing and like undressing each other, there are these flashbacks to the first moment when they were in high school, and they're like these awkward teenagers, and they're walking into the bedroom together, and you can tell they like don't know what to do, like they're home alone and they know this is a time that they can kind of like make out, and they aren't sure what to do. And again, as they're like kissing as adults, it's flashing back to them like crawling under the covers, putting the chapstick on the nightstand, like moving underneath the covers, and then kind of this like awkwardness where like they're done.
And their feet.
Oh yeah, their feet. And this like awkwardness where they're done and they're just kind of like sitting there, like smiling at each other shy, shyly, yeah.
Yeah.
And also while they're like lying down with their they're like little heads together, and they're just like they got these like shy, happy smiles on the face, like this beautiful depiction of like first love, innocent love before like trauma had really grabbed hold, where they still had hope. That interspersing with like them reconnecting as adults, like I lost it then, not like crying. I was just like, this drama is peak for me. Like, loved it, loved the idea to do that, loved their first oh my god, I can't deal. Like,
And I'm laughing as you're saying all this because I'm nodding. And
mhm,
I feel like on the show, I am like the biggest hater of like anytime the drama is like, and we had a childhood connection.
right.
But there's exceptions to every rule for this. And in this case,
Yeah.
the whole drama is that second chance at first love trope. So that's why
Right.
it works so well. So if anyone's ever like hearing me be like, yes, 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 and they're like, I thought you just don't like when they've met each other. I mean, look, they didn't play on a playground when they were 3 years old and
Thank
shared
you.
ice cream.
This is a second chance at love. This isn't like we had some random childhood connection where we like held hands once on the playground. This is like
Yeah,
an actual like first love
yeah.
and then second chance at love. So I love that moment. Because again, but like I would say, like, during the awkward dinner, by that, like, after the awkward dinner, when they had, like, full on kind of, like, fight in the alley, like, verbal fight, I
Mhm.
was like, this how are they coming back from this? How? Like, I was like, I don't see how this can be an HEA. And then they turned it around, and then all of a sudden they give you this, like, lovely romantic scene interspersed with, like, their first love moments, and I was, like, losing my mind over it.
But if you thought, because as I watched it, I was too, but I was also like, there's gonna be like the shoe has not, there's some shoe that has not fallen yet.
Right, we all know this because 'cause there's been hints and you're like, "Something's up." Like, something is up. Um, and
So
right.
Dohei is like, at this point, Dohei's kind of like, I cannot, I can lie about many things, but I cannot lie that I'm not in love with Ju Young. So as
Yes.
a watcher and as Ju Young, you know Dohei has always been in love with Ju Young, has never stopped. Even when he showed up like a baddie with his BMW and was just like, "Oh, you person?" Like, we even see flashbacks to where, like, Dohei's in Ilsan and sees, like, Ji Young walking by and
Mhm.
is, like, crying in cafes.
Right.
Like,
With
Dohei
his hood up.
hasn't been doing great.
No, no, Dohei's been doing terrible. Like, this is the thing, as much as, like, Ju Young, they show so this is the thing, during the separation, the show doesn't show you what Dohei's doing. So the first time you see Dohei after the separation is him again as a baddie, like you said, showing up at the funeral. You see that Ju Young is suffering, but I would say he's suffering in like a healthy level. Like he
He's
doesn't.
got friends. He's
Yeah, he.
got
Oh,
a job.
he's got great friends. He's got a job. People know him. He is authentically himself. And then you have Dohei, who has fake friends, kind of a fake life. Just everything is sort of like surface level. And he is prepared to keep it that way and never see Ju Young again because he knows Ju Young will like,
Yes. And Ji Young also isn't like, Ji Young's like working class. Like, his apartment's small. I
yeah.
mean, he's not down and out, but he's like, you've talked about, Megan, before, like your husband driving where he needed like a screwdriver to like start his car and stuff. I
Oh
mean,
no,
Ji
the
Young's like,
gas gauge didn't work. He had a pen and notebook where he would keep track of the gas mileage
yeah.
because his
So
yeah.
Ji Young's like maybe like a step above that.
Right. Not much though.
No, because like at one point when they go to that fancy dinner that like Dohei's a douche at, like the people are like, "Oh, you like Taekwondo gym?" Like, "Oh, so you own it?" And Ji Young's like, "I'm an employee. Like,
Yeah.
I don't own this gym." No.
Yeah, and they're all like, "Oh, like who
Yeah.
are you? Like why are you here?" Like it's
Yeah.
very
Exactly.
um so it doesn't the truth comes out in maybe a little bit more of a convoluted way than it needs to. I would say that's like my only thing,
You
but
see Ji Young like going through like an envelope.
yeah, and so this is difficult because Aichi doesn't translate these papers that I'm seeing. So I don't
Yeah.
know what's on these papers. I know they're college entrance exams like results and I know they're Dohei's, but I don't know what it says on them. And I also it doesn't really matter though because what the drama needs you to know is that he never passed the college entrance exams and he false they explain this. I mean, this is
He
not
took them over and over, apparently.
yeah, he took and he tried to say, "Oh, I did it for fun." No, he didn't. He never passed. Um and he falsified his college degree. Like just straight up photoshopped a fucking degree.
Yes, he did.
I mean, this is bad. Like this is not good. Like I do not
But
condone.
we also know that he was like incredibly intelligent and
You
a
do.
top student. So it's
Yeah.
essentially like somehow he has sabotaged himself ever since he made the choice to go do the exam
Right.
and not choose Ju Young, because he's not passing it because he doesn't have the ability to.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Like I think he just yeah, you're right. I think he just is like, well, again when he picked up that knife to stab his father, he realized who he was going to become and he was like, I'll do anything to get out of here. That includes photoshopping my college degree. That includes lying on my resume.
And he like faked being in college with people. Like he would
Yeah.
like show up around campus.
He would come to campus and he's like, "Oh yeah, I go here." Like it was again, as soon as Dohei left, he put on that mask.
Yeah.
Again.
So he
And
moved to Seoul, hung out on the campus,
mhm.
had a group of people that knew him, not close,
Mhm.
but were like, yeah, he is like a student at this elite university, and then he just photoshops a degree fully.
Yeah, and it was also, like, a good way for him to, like, keep people at arm's length. Like, Hyun Ho was the only one who knew the truth, and Hyun Ho's just like, it's gonna stay like this. This is, and I'm the only one who knows." And I think Hyun Ho loved that he was the only one who knew.
Well, because that was how he was going to, like, in his mind, that Ju Young was showing that he was like true love, because he was like, I see all, like, we talked about this too, like, what's interesting is it kind of borrowed a little bit from enemies to lovers trope, which is like, I will see you at your worst and still love you. And
Mhm.
so Ju Young's like, I can see you at your absolute, like, this is the most embarrassing shit, like bad moral choices, just like, this is not it. And I still totally love you and think you're an amazing person. And Huron is like, I love you. And I know that, like, the only way I can keep you with me, because what we have is actually not authentic, is to, like, let you believe your pretty lie and facilitate that pretty lie. And even though that lie is, like, eating you inside, I can, like, if I try to force you out of it, I'm gonna lose you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's very selfish. But he's been able to tell himself that it's all for Dohei, and everything he's doing is for Dohei, but ultimately it's coming from a very selfish place.
Right, right. And, so when the truth comes out, Dohei's like, "So you, like," Dohei's like, "This is who I," this he says to Ju Young, "This is who I am. This is who I am. I'm a liar, I'm a bad person, I'm a fake, I'm a fraud. This is who I am. So why are you here?" Like, and Ju Young's just like, "I'm still here, and I'm gonna be here, and I'm not leaving, and you can, because this isn't who you are, because I know who you are." Which is, like, just wild, right? Like, again, isn't that kind of like what we all want? That you're gonna, like, accept us when we make the worst mistakes, you know?
But yeah, I mean, this was a I was trying to think, like, what would I do? Ji Young is remarkable because I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
like, I mean, I how do you get the ick from Dohei though?
That's
I
the
mean,
thing,
that
because,
little face once he looks at you, you're just like, "Oh my god."
and this is the thing, is that there was never a point where I questioned, "Why is Ju Young putting up with this?" I actually didn't question that, because, because when they were together and, like, happily together, you also felt for Dohei so much that you, like, wanted that happiness for him. And you also understood, like, he did, like, he saw in Ju Young, and he valued Ju Young in a way that, like, Ju Young's parents did. Like, you understood the connection, right? Like, there was never a moment where I was like, "Ju Young, this is too many red flags. You gotta go." I never felt that way.
No, because when you saw, like, Dohei's, like, whole mask come off and you saw this,
Right.
like, little fragile chrysalis underneath everything, just in there like, "Papa, love me."
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, Jesus."
Right?
Because, like, and here's the thing is, it did a really good job kind of with, like, elegant sparseness to show that the world around Dohei is like, he put on a toxic shell of, like, lying to be able to navigate this world that wasn't going to serve him in some way, but he himself at his core was not that. And so
Yeah.
that's why you could buy Jiyoung loving him, because who he was, like, all the ick was like the exterior. And when you peeled that ick off and was like, look, step out of that and live your truth, the truth was a very good person.
Yeah, because he then he comes out and tells the truth. He essentially
Yeah.
just, like,
Well,
he just vomits it out to everyone.
he does it in a very no they do a very save the cat thing with this. So there's
Oh, that is true. That is
so
true.
they
He gets caught because, so basically, yeah, right. He gets caught because he's trying to save this, like, abused kid,
yeah,
basically.
so there's a kid being abused at his school because he's a tutor now at, like, one of these, like, upmarket
It's
cram
like a,
schools.
yeah, it's in, yeah.
It's very much midnight in the like, it's one of those kind of, like, it's got that vibe. And so there is like a university professor mom who's like pumping her kid full of like IVs of vitamins.
I mean, it
And
is wild.
yeah, they have like a camera on the kid 24/7 in the house to like ensure he's studying at all times. I mean, the kid's going through it. And he meets
Mhm.
with the mom to be like, look, this is not it. Like, this is not like this kid does not need to live like this. And the
Right.
mom's basically like Karen's out and is like, oh, yeah. And then like finds out that like he's falsified records and is
Yeah.
like, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And
She's like, I'm
so,
going to sue you now.
yeah. And so,
So
lawyer
he is
bestie,
forced out in a way.
well, lawyer bestie is like, we can fight this back. Like, we can take this bitch down.
Right.
And I'm saying that in like a pejorative, like basically they're like, he's like, I got you. Like, we'll come for her. And instead, Dohei's like, you know what? No,
And
I'm gonna come clean and just like step out, like take this toxic shell off and start again.
and there is one trump card that Hyun Ho thinks he holds.
Mm.
So, because Ju Young basically comes to him and he's like, "What did you do?" And Hyun Ho's like, "Look, I'm the one. I got him where he is. He's successful because of me. Leave this alone. Don't get involved." And Ju Young's like furious because Ju Young's like, "You ruined his life. Like by help. Like why did you aid him?" Basically, and Hyun Ho is like, he knew you were getting beat up, and he took the exam anyway. He thought that was like his trump card. He thought if Ju Young knew that Ju Young would
Be betrayed.
yeah, he would feel betrayed. And Ju Young's just like, I already know. I know he called the cops. He's the one who called the cops, and he knows about it. I know about it. It's cool. I still love him. Like throws his trump card back in his face, and he's like, "Peace out, peace out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go be with my man."
Yeah.
And he supports Dohei because Dohei loses everything. He loses his job. He loses his like home. He loses his
Well, they
money.
essentially say that he's sentenced to prison, but I think that he doesn't have to serve. Like essentially, like
Yeah.
he gets a charge, but I believe that it's like basically how they kind of present it is that he's like on parole.
Yeah, and I think too, it's probably like sometimes they like defer sentences. That's what I'm going to say. It's probably like a deferred sentence where like you don't actually have to serve it. Like yeah, it's probably
so whatever it is, like
probation.
we see he gets 6 months, but like
Yeah.
he technically doesn't serve it.
Correct. And this is the part of the drama where I was like so in love. This was like the second part. This like act 3 basically. So the truth comes out. Dohei is like laid bare, and Dohei is now free bird. Like play free bird in the background because that is Dohei. Dohei is happy in like poor domestic bliss. Like Dohei's totally fine, just chilling in Ju Young's like tiny apartment, just like having the time of his life in this like domestic,
Yeah.
and
And it doesn't feel, I mean, it feels very, very authentic. It doesn't feel like a false happiness
no,
at all.
Ju Young's just like, or Dohei's just like, look, like the truth is out. Like I'm finally like I'm not burdened by this anymore. That's the thing. You could tell for 12 years he's like burdened by this lie. Like the money is a lie, everything's a lie. And so for him to finally like let go of that must have been incredibly freeing. And on second watch, I also want to point out like a little Easter egg I saw, which I thought was really interesting. Because there's a point in the drama where Hyun Ho is like in Dohei's apartment and he takes a shower.
Yeah.
And he
That's
comes
when I was
out.
like, are they having sex?
I know. But he comes out and I remember this scene and I couldn't like understand why they made such a why they
That's why I
zoomed
thought
in.
they were having sex because they made it such a moment.
Right. But they zoom in on like the water dripping on the floor. And Dohei looks at it and then looks at Hyun-ho and he's like, okay, like I'll see you later. I got to go to work. Like, that's it. And I'm just like, why did they zoom in on the water dripping on the floor? He's like, is this going to be Final Destination? He like slips on the water and like dies or something. And then flash forward to the end when he and Ju Young are living together. And with Hyun Ho, Dohei couldn't be himself. He couldn't say, hey, stop dripping water on my floor. With Ju Young, he's like, baby, get in here. Get in here. Look at the floor. Clean up the water after the shower. What
It's
do you
so
do?
true. That was a great Easter egg catch because I didn't put
didn't
that
catch
together
it.
till you just said it, but I did catch the dripping in the show because all I was distracted with is like, are we trying to infer that this is a thing? Like that's what I
Yeah.
was like, but no, it was setting up to say that exactly what you just said.
But I did not notice it the first time. So that was only on second viewing where I was like, the fucking water. Oh my God. And it's like they fall into this like they have like this one scene where they're sleeping in like really weird cramped positions together because they're just so comfortable with each other. Like this is where they were kind of like always meant to be. And there's this really cool line where basically Ju Young is like, "Hey, look, you can go back to school. Here's all you can go abroad."
Yeah, he starts getting brochures to be
Yeah.
like, let's like this is like basically we can't turn back time, but we can reset. And like, what do you want to do? Like, let's do it and do it for real this time.
Yeah, and has this line that I love. He puts his head on Ju Young's shoulder and he's like, "Fix me like you always do." And it just got me. It just got me so good because they're just such like a beautiful couple together. Like they fit.
And something that we didn't touch on, because all of this is a yes, but something that I think was true too is that Dohei did move to Ilsan for Ju Young. Like that is
Mhm.
for sure. But
Right.
it was like he knew he could never present himself in front of Ju Young as like the lying liar he was. So it was
Yeah.
almost like he was hoping somehow like he was going to be able to like bend reality to his will in some way to be the success. Because once he was authentic, because I don't think he thought that he was never going to see Ji Young again. I think
Mhm.
he somehow had this like warped idea that somehow I'm going to become like a real success. And that's when I will go for Ji Young. I can't go to Ji Young until I've actually somehow made these lies like real in some way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think he was like, "I'm going to take the college entrance exam until I pass him, and then somehow
Exactly.
go back to college or something." Yeah, I think he was like, I'll fix this somehow. I'll see Ju Young again, and I'll fix this somehow." But
But cursed himself forever with it.
he did, and then when confronted with Ju Young before he was ready, he's like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no."
He's like, I'm not ready. I'm like the lying liar. Like
Yeah,
I'm the shit.
like this is going to blow up in my face, and it did blow up.
Yeah. Well,
His life blew up.
something I don't know though, and I don't know if you do or not, but this was a question I had, is why did Dohei's dad have all the college entrance exams?
I don't know either because
Was it
his
like
dad.
mailed back to the house?
I don't know because his dad like knew about it too.
Yeah,
His dad, like, knew about the lies and just, like, yeah, I don't know because I don't know how that stuff works, like.
yeah. I didn't either because we know that Ji Young found out because he like found the envelope.
Correct, and
Yeah, stuff.
the father's, like, stuff, yeah, um, and then so I guess let's talk about the very ending because to me, this was the cherry on the ice cream sundae, in my opinion, the, like, very ending.
Okay,
So, Dohei is like, "I'm gonna take the college entrance to get exams again. I'm gonna pass them this time." Like, I think now he's like, "I can do it. I have Ju Young. I'm happy. Like, I can do it this time," you
I'm
know?
powered by love. I will pass it.
Yeah. And so he's doing some studying and Ju Young is asleep, like, right next to him because again, they live in this tiny fucking apartment. Like, it's like one bedroom.
Yeah.
And, Ju Young had always like, we did know this, we get hints of it. He would, like, ask questions on some sort of forum. I don't, like, know what it is.
No, it'd be like if let's just
It's like
pretend for like
Reddit,
Western Reddit. He was like a
right?
Redditor.
Yeah, he's like a Redditor. He's got like a Reddit account basically, and he like will ask questions on Reddit. And Ju Young sees that there's been like a question just recently answered, so he reads it, and it's like, and then he obviously sees the account and goes back through and starts reading all these questions that Ju Young has asked on
For
Reddit
12 years.
for 12 years, and it's like, how do you make fake snow? Um, how do you make or what kind of music is good for someone who likes studying because I don't study, but my friend does, and I want him to listen to music that will help him study. How do you hide bruises?
Oh yeah,
How
because he was trying to cover up the fact he was being beaten so badly.
right. Um, and then the one was like, my friend's sad. How can I make him happy? And then one that's just like, I miss you. I miss
Yeah.
you. I miss you so much. And Dohei's just like reading all these and he's just like smiling like a giddy little because like for 12 years he sees that Ju Young like just like him, like never let it go. Like always have been thinking of him. And to me that was like after all the angst of this drama, the
Mhm.
fact that you gave me an HEA, That was like a whole episode. It was like 30 minutes of an HEA.
It was a really you needed to have it to believe that, like, all the trauma, like, because again, this is a pretty short drama, so you have to sell us a convincing ending that couldn't just be them kissing, and then you're like, "Okay," because 'cause you'd be like, "Really, though?" The way they sold it was, like, moments like that, moments like the water on the floor, which, like, truly felt like, a very just domestic, like, "Babe, get in here. Why is there water on the floor? Like, what are we doing?"
Mhm.
And it's just like, that's the kind of behavior you would do to show, like, this isn't just, like, a kiss and we're safe. This is, like, we can bicker. Like, once you can bicker, you know that, like.
Yeah, and you're also figuring out how to live together.
Yeah,
Like, if that water bothers you, then you gotta say something, or
yeah,
else it's just gonna, like that's another thing, like,
fester.
good for Dohei, like, no more mask.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like, you see that Dohei is just like, "No, I wanna watch this drama again." Like,
I
now that
know. Me too.
I miss Dohei's little happy face because the stone cold Dohei is heartbreaking to watch
Yeah.
because I feel like I know the real Dohei too. So when you see him being a cold asshole, it's like hurts.
No, I'm
I'm
gonna
not like
rewatch it again this weekend.
yeah, it's so and because when you get to see happy Dohei, it's the best. He's so happy with Ju Young, and that last episode, he's just again, he's like, no job, no money, broke as a joke, and he's just like, this is fun.
But they have, like, a future like, they're back to where they were 12 years ago, where the future's unwritten for them.
Yeah, and it's funny because Dohei even says that earlier to Hyun Ho, because Hyun Ho's like, I thought she didn't want to go back to the past, and Dohei's like, no, I want to start from where it stopped.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's saying. He's saying my life basically stopped 12 years ago, and I've been
Yeah.
in like I've been in a holding pattern, but now Ju Young's back, and I can like start from there, which is
Yeah.
also beautiful.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel codependent. I believe they're both gonna find success on their own terms. And so, like, why does this go into my top 3? Because at the end of the day, this is, like, a complex but ultimately very simple drama. Like, this is a
Yeah.
simple story, but it comes with, like, the textured layers that are, yeah, when we see generational pain, when we see overcoming trauma, like, these are, like, universal stories that we can get behind. And I just feel like this was done fairly sparingly. Like, it's never overwritten. In fact, it, like, skirts the line to underwritten, where you have to
Mhm.
kind of, like, infer things in. But I liked that. And it lives and dies with character. And these were two characters that I would like to spend time with over and over and over again.
Oh my god. I would watch like, I would watch a special episode an hour long of them just being domestic. I don't want a season 2 because I don't wanna I don't you're gonna have to
No,
break them
yeah,
up, and I
no,
don't want
yeah.
that. Just give me a special episode where they're bickering about water on the floor, where they're, like, giving little kisses, where they're sleeping funny. That is what I want. Like,
Yeah.
I would watch a whole
I
episode.
want, like, an episode where it's, like, Ji Young's birthday and Do has to pick out, like, a birthday gift, and it's like a vignette.
Incredible. I would watch that in a heartbeat. They were just so perfect. I mean, it just was so well written, so well acted. Um, yeah, I mean, I wanna watch it again. It was
Yeah, really
just
well shot, like, the cinematography is really good.
yeah.
It's a very special little gem, and I guess and again, this is not a comp, but when I watched I'm Not a Robot, I was not expecting it to, like, destroy me.
Right.
I thought I'd just be watching just, like, a silly drama.
Yeah.
And in this case, yeah, I just wasn't expecting. I mean, I was expecting it to be pretty good because you were freaking out so bad, and when you were freaking out that bad, I tend to like it. But I guess I wasn't expecting to just really be like I felt motivated afterwards too to be like, there's a lot of lessons here from, like, a creative perspective of, like, things I can bring into, like, my own work, and how do I want to tell stories and what do I want to show? Because I really appreciated the structure of it so much. So beyond the story and everything, I just thought how it was all set up and put together and packaged was just this, like, lovely little thing. And when I go back to, like, because I'm always curious, like, are we gonna recommend this? And other people are gonna be like, I don't know, because that happened to us with Duna, where we were like, we love Duna. And then there were a lot
Oh,
of people that were like, meh, I didn't really like, I was mad at Duna. Well, this has at least a very secure HEA.
I think it has a secure HEA and it's beautiful. Like I actually don't know how you can watch this and not connect with the characters. I actually don't. I don't know. I truly don't.
Tell
If
us so
you
we can judge you.
if you didn't, don't tell me because I don't want to know because I probably would judge you. No, I'm just kidding. I just think that the characters are just so easy to connect to. And I did feel vindicated because I was also like my mind was blown. I was
Hmm.
like, what is happening? Why has no one sold me harder on this drama?
No one.
And yeah, and so I was like, am I crazy? Like, cause sometimes things just hit me at a good time. I didn't know. So when you also were freaking out, I felt very vindicated. I was like, good, I'm not crazy. Cause I
I
thought I
am
was crazy.
baffled nobody was just like, "How are you not watching this right now? Why are you doing nothing else but watching this?"
Like that, cause that's what we're telling you. Why are you doing nothing else but like watching this and watch it over and over again and like tell everyone to watch it? Cause it was fantastic. And I want this writer to do more work,
Yeah,
period.
I mean, I want them to be my friend.
Me too.
I wonder if I can friend bomb them, be like, "Hey, Vivian Slow, can I be your friend? Because I wanna talk to you about your structure."
Huang Du Sol, she looks young. If we look at her name, oh, she's 31. Look, we
Oh,
even have
damn,
her
she's gonna
birth
be
date.
like, "Come hang out with this Ajuma."
Yeah, girl, where are you? Come talk to us. Oh, you know what? So she is, okay, so she's a director for some things. She's been a director for a bunch of BLs. She was a director for To My Star, which I've seen that, Blooming, and then she's the screenwriter and director for Where Your Eyes Linger and Let
Yeah.
Free the Curse, which Where Your Eyes Linger has a similar plot line, but I would say is much shorter, and that probably is more underwritten. Like, I liked it though. That was really
Yeah, I
good.
need to watch it. I've always heard it's very good, but I
Yeah, it's
haven't
good. It's very angsty and it's sad. Like, I think she definitely has like that's like the
gets
abuse theme is also very heavy in Where Your Eyes Linger. Which I will say, like the abuse um in Let Free the Curse of Taekwondo is more implied than
yeah,
like,
it's implied to have been horrific, but you see very little of it.
yeah, you see like one slap. You
You
see
see
like
some bruising.
bruising, which I appreciate. Like I don't need to see that.
No, I don't wanna, like, I mean, it felt like trauma, but it doesn't get to turn into trauma porn.
Correct. It's just so, oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, I feel like I want to go watch it again, and because I feel like maybe I would even pick up more Easter eggs as I watched it because I think it's pretty genius. So
More Korean, like, and the other thing too is that, like, we throw, like, I mean, BL is like a identifier of the fact that, like, this is gonna be like a drama that's gonna have like a man falling in love with a man. So I understand
mhm.
why we use it, but at the same time, like, I also think that it can be like distance. Like somebody's like, "Oh, well, I don't watch BLs," or I don't know what it is. Like, not for any like homophobic reasons, but just like it's almost like its own category. It would be like saying like K-pop or something. Like it's like a category where I'd be like, look, if you're just not sure about like a subgenre category or you haven't tried it, I'm going to also argue that like this feels very much like it's it's not niche. Like it is a mainstream. Like this is a universal story. Like it doesn't feel niche.
100%. And because I remember when I said, I was like, well, first of all, this is the best BL I've ever seen. And then I like was like, wait a minute, it's one of the best dramas I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Like I'm not giving it a caveat. I'm not separating it out. It is a drama. It is a K drama, and it's one of the best K dramas I've
Yeah.
ever
That's
seen.
why I made like a conscious choice to be like, yes, I'm putting like, and also like I can't, I mean, his man has been like my bullshit for years.
Oh yeah,
And
his
again,
man
I
is
don't like to
fantastic.
say like something's better than another, whatever, but
Wait,
like
his
this,
beautiful man, you mean?
yeah, his
Yeah.
beautiful man, sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
mean, but this is, I just think there was a lot of, I really enjoyed being able to be invited into something where like I was meant to be like a participant in like thinking about the show and reconciling. And I think I had to be invite like I yeah, I don't know how to fully articulate, but it's like I feel like I almost had to be like invited as a viewer into the drama to also kind of absolve and forgive so that they had their HEA. Because if I like, it's one thing for Jiyoung to forgive and move on, but like we had to fully do that as well and go through like that reckoning ourselves, which was a cool experience as a viewer to be like, I also have to be like, ooh, I'm kind of judging you, buddy. Like that was a bad call. And then be
Yeah.
like, and I am going to understand and forgive you.
Yeah, and there's no like apologies for it. Like they show him falsifying the diploma and they show him having real consequences. Like there's no way this this drama is like cuz he's miserable as a liar.
Yeah.
Okay? Like he's not happy. And so it's just yeah, you're right. the way the story was set up, I went through it with Ju Young, and I
Mhm.
went through I in a way had to like fall back in. Well, Ju Young never stopped, but like I had to fall back in love with Dohei, and it was just so freaking good. So I hope everyone, I really hope people give it a chance. We'll put up some other Aichi recommendations so you don't feel like you're wasting your money. Because I got a whole bunch, people. There's a lot of good stuff on there that and especially Ken Porsche, if you haven't watched Ken Porsche yet.
Kim Porsche and Love in the Air.
Yeah, those are the top. Those are the top.
But I mean, at the same time, this is the top.
Correct. Nothing's topped Ken Porsche BL wise for me, and Ken Porsche is in my top 10. I don't know. This might have knocked Ken Porsche out of the top 10. I'm not sure, but it's a top drama for me. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and top 3 for me, and I don't give up my like I am, pretty steady.
I don't want to make a list.
I know, I don't. I mean, that's the problem is that like as I say all this, I'm like, I don't want to be like this binary constructed, but I feel like it's titillating. People are always like, "Ooh, you it knocked out." So it's like it is a sales pitch to also.
It is, and it should be. Like I want to sell it. Like this will be my new mission. Like I am not a robot, and now let free the curse of Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Like those.
So at the end of this year, though, I do want to do a new top 10 list and see what's on my top 10 list at the end of this year.
I think we should do that. The three of us. We should have an episode where we do that.
Yeah.
That would be very hard. I'm probably going to dread it, but I think we should do that.
It is very hard, but I mean, it's also interesting to see what dramas have stuck with us over time and like we think of time and time again.
That is true. Because that matters. Okay, so I think that's it for this drama, right? Any final thoughts?
I mean, I'll be selling it forever, but yeah, I think
right?
Yeah. For a Friday morning.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Friday. It's 2:00 here now.
Oh, okay. Friday afternoon.
Yeah. All right. That was fun. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And we'll catch you next time.
All right. Annyeong.
Annyeong.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFternoonadelight.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!